Howdy, everybody. Good evening and welcome to Mild's Culture Plate. I am your host, Mild Kevin Miles. It is December 2nd, 2023, 6 p.m. Central. Ladies and gentlemen, feds and degenerates, cuckolds of all ages, I am your host, Mild Kevin Miles, and we've got an interesting show for you tonight. We're going to be doing our favorite news segment. We're going to be bringing back an old segment that I used to do on this show. And we're going to be covering all the trending news out there today. I'm going to be drinking Basil Hayden's Kentucky Straight Bourbon. If you want a shout out or a toast, just say so in the chat. But before I crack the Basil Hayden's, you might notice like all my bottles are getting really low. I haven't been to the liquor store in months. This damn diet, I don't drink as much. The past 4 days, all this streaming, this is all the drinking I've been doing is on stream. But I will go ahead and finish off the larceny from last night before I crack the Basil Hayden's. There's like half a glass here, and then I'll pour half a glass of the Basil Hayden. So yeah, if you're out there in the chat, say hello. Let's see, we've got one person in the chat already. So welcome and cheers to Squishy Hunter. Good seeing you. BH. What footage of BH? Not sure what you mean by BH. But it's probably something simple, and I'm just having a brain fart right now. I would like to apologize if I am having a brain fart because, yeah, I just went through some situation. I had to extinguish a quick fire before going live, but that's not going to stop us. That's not going to stop us. We've got a lot of topics to cover here today, and like I said, I'm bringing back an old segment on the show. Let's go ahead and get into that. Why don't we? So here we go. We're going to get into the gender crazy of the week. Gender crazy of the week. So let's see what the gender crazy of the week is here. Let me go ahead and bring the banner back. Okay. So here we have Fox 11 News. Jimmy Fallon causes uproar after calling a transgender actress Bud. Late night host Jimmy Fallon is under fire from LGBTQ plus activists for using a masculine term to refer to a transgender activist. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. Shout out to Demon's Wrath in the chat. Welcome. Oh, whew. Okay, so Fallon made the remark while speaking to Hunter Schafer, who was on the show to promote the upcoming movie Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. When Schafer explained it had been her dream to star in the film, Fallon offered kudos by saying, "Congratulations, Bud." Bud. As if though the transgender person did not appear offended by the remark, fans found it demeaning to transgender people, arguing that the term was a subtle way of referring to Schafer as a male. Bruh. As if I didn't have enough reason to hate Fallon, he takes this opportunity to show that he doesn't see Hunter as the beautiful, immaculate queen sitting before him, one said. To my cis readers, I hope you don't see this as an overreaction. Buddy is unquestionably male coded. Ladies and gentlemen, these people, I'm going to bring this down because, yeah, okay, there's more comments, but okay, I'll bring this down real quick. Look, these people want you to think the genitals cannot be gender coded. But the word buddy is inherently male. Look, I don't completely disagree with them. I think, I don't typically say tell little girls or, girls or women, hey buddy, unless I do it sarcastically because I've friend zoned them or something, like or we're friends with benefits or something, that's something you really only do sarcastically, but you still do it, right? It's still a thing. It's still, the whole good burger. He's a dude, she's a dude, we're all dudes. You don't need buddy's not inherently masculine. It can be gender neutral, but yeah, you don't tend to say it to women unless you're trying to point out that you're not trying to fuck them. And maybe that was Fallon's intention, right? Like, not sexually attracted to you. But is not gender neutral, another said. I've never heard anybody refer to a grown ass woman as a bud before. I hate Jimmy Fallon so much. Well, again, you've never been friend zoned by a woman then. I agree there was a bigger possibility of unconscious transphobia. If that was a thing that only happened to Hunter, but like Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, and many other young female artists were called bud by him, so I doubt it was the case, someone said. And they've got the tweets here. I'm not going to read the tweeters' names because, I don't do that here. While others felt the controversy was blown out of proportion, it's funny how people have to walk on eggshells when there is an interaction with the LGBT plus community, one said. Fucking true. Fucking true. Like, you want to be seen as a complete person. Oh, and I forgot to bring it back up when I was reading that. Okay, you want to be seen as a complete person, but, again, you're so fragile at every little thing that comes up. So that was our gender crazy of the week. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Not sure it's gonna be an every week crazy of the week, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to find something for that segment if I can. Now that I've been able to bring it back. Okay, let's go to Las Vegas. This is from the Post Millennial. Over 70 arrested in Las Vegas sex trafficking sting operation during Formula One weekend. Las Vegas Police Captain Hector Cintrone announced that during the course of the operation, 36 individuals were arrested for pandering, 31 arrested for soliciting services, so that's mostly prostitution, and 7 were arrested for luring a child. Now there we go. That's the dangerous part there. Las Vegas Police Department arrested more than 70 individuals, 36. Okay, we just read all that. Captain Cintran said that all the suspects arrested. Okay, so let's change that. It's not just prostitution. All the suspects arrested thought they were, quote, meeting a child for sex. Holy shit. Though my bureau is relentless in pursuing predators, we cannot do this alone, Cintran said. Las Vegas Police Department coordinated with RISE, an organization that provides intensive and comprehensive services to human trafficking victims, and set up a 24-hour rescue or resource center on the Strip. Police department is also educated that more than 100 casino workers. The police department has also educated more than 100 casino workers to learn how to spot potential human trafficking victims, according to the outlet. Deputy Chief Nicholas Faris said that law enforcement officials rescued 5 juveniles identified as potential victims during the operation, and that 20 more potential victims were provided resources. He said that combating sex trafficking is one of the top priorities of law enforcement agencies across the city. The reality is sex trafficking happens in our city every day, and big events bring more people to our city, as well as more awareness, Faris said, the outlet reports. Captain Cintran also emphasized the victim-centered approach his team took to this operation, which called for the accompaniment of victim advocate on the scene in addition to the officers in order to offer the victim urgent services. These resources range from emergency lodging to financial support for individuals looking for quick protection from their traffickers. Most victims do not see themselves as victims, and it's important to address the psychological component of this crime, whether it's sexual abuse at a young age or a predator targeting an emotionally vulnerable person, Captain Cintran said. Only 21 victims, or 10%, who were contacted by officers accepted services, who explained that this is not uncommon. Cheers to Julian Delfiki in the chat. Welcome, welcome. Okay, that's the end of the larceny small batch. Gonna switch to the Basil Haydens. Oh, I poured a little heavier than half a glass, but we'll make it work. Okay. Where was I? Deputy Chief Faris advised parents to talk to their children about their relationships and point out any warning signs. He stressed the significance of frequently looking through kids' phones to identify who they may be talking on social media or sending texts to. Faris said law enforcement agencies will also be coordinating with the NFL to prevent human trafficking during the Super Bowl. Okay, so, this to me goes right into the whole... Julian Delfiki, they're both... he's asking here. Let me just go ahead and paste it in the chat here. Okay, Julian Delfiki's asking how much do these two whiskeys cost. They're both like sub $40. You should. They're both pretty damn cheap. I want to say Larceny may have been like 38-ish. I don't quote me on that, but yeah, they were both pretty damn cheap. They're a good entry level bourbon. Both of them are a pretty good entry level bourbon, and they taste similar enough to where I poured them in the same glass. I wouldn't have done that if one had been like a Scotch or one had been like a stronger bourbon, but yeah, they're pretty cheap. Anyway, so one of the reasons I bring this topic up, and obviously Formula One has been a disaster for the state of Nevada and the city of Las Vegas. I've mentioned it before. There are YouTube channels out there who covered all the madness from the road construction to the blocking the views to the Formula One itself harassing business owners, demanding royalty fees for restaurant seating that might view the track, trying to gouge people. I mean, just it was a whole disaster, and there are plenty of YouTube channels out there that talk about the disaster that is Formula One. But I think it's important to realize that like these big events like this happen, and we just had this situation where Elon Musk took a bunch of fire for essentially tweeting out a comment about Pizzagate. Now, say what you want about James Alefantis, and I probably shouldn't be saying all this shit on YouTube, but I'm going to anyway. James Alefantis and Comet Pizza and all that. That's not the important part. The important part is that child trafficking does exist in the United States, and you know, these aren't your average, you know, plumbers who are going to Las Vegas and paying, you know, thousands of dollars for a Formula One vacation. And oh yeah, let me just buy a child while I'm there. You know, this isn't the guy down the street. This isn't your next door neighbor doing these kind of things. Hey, how's it going there, Mr. Stir Fry in the chat? Welcome, brother. Cheers, man. More kids playing traffic. That's not what you meant. Yes, yes. So, you know, it's important to know that, you know, when they try to act like pedophilia is not a tragic thing or a dangerous thing and it's not as widespread in our society, that's fucking sus. That's fucking sus. And, you know, you definitely need to beware those people and keep an eye out on those people. Okay, so let's do this. You know, big thank you to Julian Delfici for giving me a heads up on this video that I'm going to play now. This is from Russia. This is from Russia. And this is, these are Russian scientists showing a Google AI program to Vladimir Putin. Russians showing an AI program to Vladimir Putin. Now, what's in the AI program? Well, they ran photos and videos of the Chinese space program and compared them to videos and photos of the United States moon landing. And had the AI analyze these. And let's see what they found. The neural network thinks almost everything is fake. Meanwhile, it raises no particular questions about this photo taken by a Chinese lunar rover. It believes this one is fake. Look, it's red. This is what Google's neural network thinks, not ours, so there will be no bias. Neural network has analyzed a lot of data, including light and dark contrast, etc. Then it believes the photo is synthetic. Very interesting. So yeah, we have that. That absolute gem. So if you're one of those moon landing deniers, which I myself have questions about the moon landing. So you know, so this is a good freeze frame here. I paused it at just the right time. Okay, so here you have the Chinese moon rover, right? So I mean, I think the rover stuff, even the US Mars rover, I think they're real to some degree. But there's still a little red on here, right? There's still a little red, but not faked. This, it's showing entire portions that just don't appear to be genuine for some reason. Not sure how that's... I'm not sure what the AI is using to determine this, and why is it called the neural network? That's a... Google, what are you doing over there? Oh, sorry, didn't mean to have my Twitter feed up. Okay, so let's move on from that, because, yeah. Let's see here. Yes, a funny thing happened on the way to the moon. Yeah, that, you know, I think something did happen. You know, again, without getting too much into the conspiratorial, I personally, my belief is, you know, they intended to have it all happen live and on camera, but something happened on the way to the moon, and they decided, well, we'll just fake it in a studio and yeah, use voice actors or whatever. So this is a newish video from James O'Keefe, and I have not watched this yet. So but I know it has something to do with the strange biolab that popped up in California a few months back. So let's watch this video and see what James O'Keefe had to say about it.
We're doing an investigation into the Chinese biolabs, and the person that you were talking to actually works for me. About the Chinese biolabs, you're actually on video, talking about them, talking about your boss, Jim Costa. You've been recorded as part of an undercover investigation.
Yeah, I think they had a recording of the guy saying, like, you know, I'm doing parts of this because
okay, so this must be a follow-up video to our earlier video.
I think I saw like they had like done a camera or they had like kind of secretly recorded him saying stuff. I mean, I knew for a few months before anybody else did.
Did you?
We've known for years that China's been conducting numerous nefarious covert activities right here in the United States.
China definitely
Chinese police stations,
wants to offshore their dangerous research to our shores.
The Chinese even buying thousands of acres of American farmland, some of it right next to our military bases. But those offenses pale in comparison to what we have recently discovered. Convicted Chinese criminals who are active members of the Chinese military are operating secret biolabs right here in small-town America. And they're handling deadly pathogens including Ebola, HIV, malaria, TB, even COVID. Deadly pathogens that could be weaponized and used against Americans at the drop of a hat.
So does he think that it was like a bioweapon lab?
Well, they don't know. That's what they're kind of like. How many the questions are?
It's
like
more of a bio-research lab.
Like,
we covered it here on the
creating,
show.
Like, these like labs within the United States.
Well, what does your boss think about that? Like, does he think it's China?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, what does your boss think? Like, do you think that it was like more of a national security threat?
Yeah,
he does.
Yeah.
And Congress, with the help of the mainstream media,
at least the one that they seized was more.
That is until
it was a research lab. They were trying to create tests for these diseases.
American swipers went undercover to investigate and hooked up on
and
Tinder
so they had the warehousing for all their tests that they were manufacturing.
Top staffers. And on a series
but they were also
Tinder
quality
dates,
contrling the tests to make sure they worked
congressional
against these
staffer
diseases.
Singing like a bird. I'm James O'Keefe, and this is OMG TV.
At a time when the public has lost all trust in the mainstream.
Rated by like this.
Oh, okay. So
here's local authorities in California.
There was a facility in like downtown Reedley that was
okay, so this is the full video.
Rated by
how long
like
is this video?
Chinese
oh shit, it's
they
25 minutes.
Tests, like,
we might have to skip around some of this. I thought this was like a 5-minute video. It's 25 minutes.
The Chinese were operating a biolab, and there was hardly any media attention on this, and we knew that we had to find out what was being hidden from public view. So our citizen journalist went on her first date. She was very careful because California is a two-party consent.
You gotta love OMG Media Group, you know, O'Keefe Media Group. You gotta love the way James O'Keefe uses
where there were too few people, and
the fact that these men in positions of power or adjacent to positions of power are horny.
Consent state to record. Sepulveda started talking to our undercover journalist about a facility in downtown Reedley, California, about 25 miles southeast of Fresno.
Okay, we know all about this. I'm going to skip forward a little bit.
By a Chinese national who apparently was on the run.
I managed to skip forward to almost an exact him saying the same thing. That was great.
The city of Reedley, California reached out to state officials, federal officials, and nobody was returning their calls. So the city of Reedley finally reached out to Congressman Jim Costa's office, and that's where the story begins.
Okay.
So then they create a China Select Committee in Congress. Now what's unusual about the committee is that there are very few Democrats. In fact, we're only aware of Jim Costa actually talking about this. It's mostly Republicans, a point that the congressional staffer Sepulveda is asked about.
Well, I mean, they're the ones who are currently in charge of Congress right now, and they're the ones who dictate what the committees are focusing on. So like the China Select Committee, that is specifically created by the Republican Congress, and so that was what the committee wanted to focus
Damn
on.
straight.
In this undercover encounter, the citizen journalist asks Daniel Sepulveda, why isn't the committee going further? Why isn't media talking about this? And why is it that hardly any Democrats are talking about it?
And then, I mean, they were going to make a bigger deal out of it. Like, they were supposed to have, like, I think I said last time, they were going to even testify, like, have, like, the city manager really testify and in front of Congress. They were going to come with, like, the ticket person or the ticket lady who actually was the one who first caught the thing.
Right.
I mean, I think she kind of resolved. I mean, they're not resolved, but like the guy who was in charge of it, he's in prison now. I mean, they cleaned up the mess. So I mean, like, there's not much more to go further.
An active biolab operating in California, the citizen journalist asks Jim Costa's congressional staffer, does he think that China's responsible, and to what extent?
Well, what does your boss think about that? Like, does he think it's China?
I mean, yeah.
Congressman
Obviously.
Jim Costa's staff
It was obviously
answers
China.
whether he thinks his boss believes this is a national security threat.
Okay, what does your boss think? Like, do you think that it was like more of a national security threat?
Yeah,
He does.
The citizen journalist talking about the illicit biolab operated by a Chinese national asks Congressman Jim Costa's staffer.
He keeps
does he
dropping
think
that.
there are
Operated by a
biolabs
Chinese
in the United
national. He
States?
really wants to hit that point home.
Does he think there's more?
Well, there could be. We don't know. That's the thing. Like, it's kind of like we gotta.
Well, who's trying to figure out, like, if there is more? What's going on with that?
I don't know.
Daniel Sepulveda, staffer for Congressman Costa, talks about the existence of a recording, a secret recording of David He.
Well, what does your boss think about that? Like, does he think it's China?
I mean, yeah.
He does.
Yeah, I think they had a recording of the guy saying, like, you know, I'm doing parts of this because to benefit the Chinese government. I think I saw, like, they had like done a camera of
Holy
they
shit.
had, like, kind of secretly recorded him saying
Holy
stuff.
shit. Please tell me this dude's in prison.
The staffer for Congressman Jim Costa doesn't
I guess they
hesitate
already said he's in
when
prison, so
asked
my bad.
if this is a national security threat.
Okay, what does your boss think? Like, do you think that it was like more of a national security threat?
Yeah,
He does.
The staffer for Congressman Jim Acosta talks about all of the illegal substances being handled in this lab. Ebola,
But the fact that this
HIV,
lab
malaria,
was able to exist for so
tuberculosis.
long
So from the
and
first
literally
day,
had to
our
go
citizen
defunct
journalist gathered a lot of
before it
information,
gained
and we
anyone's
decided
attention and
that
authority.
She should have a second meeting.
It was
It's-
incredibly
that's the
lucky
frightening.
that right before the second date, Congress member Jim Costa released a 42-page document to Congress explaining what was going on with the biolab.
In the second meeting, there were a couple loose ends she decided to try to find out. The congressional staffer for Congressman Jim Costa brags and gloats how he knew.
Look, let me just say, if you're the head or you're part of a congressional office, or you're part of an office that involves one of the major Fortune 500 corporations, I would be having serious conversations with your staff members about what they're talking about on first and second dates with their new dates. You know, make sure, like, what's going on here is going on here, and it's not to be taken home and talked about with the chick you're trying to bang.
About the presence of this Chinese-operated
But then again,
biolab
don't, because we
months
like hearing this.
before anybody else did.
I mean, all the information's out public now. I mean, I knew for a few months before anybody else did.
Did you?
Congressman Jim Acosta's staffers asked in this recording, what does his boss think? And he says that his boss thinks that they're doing parts of this to benefit the Chinese government.
Well, what does your boss think about that? Like, does he think it's China?
Okay, repeating shit. Come on now.
Report about
Congress should not have had to get involved here.
Okay,
The
it's Kevin
local
McCarthy.
representatives did exactly what was right. They reached out to the federal authorities that should deal with this. The CDC and others
What?
hung up on him, ignored him, until the Congressman Jim Costa called them. But when the CDC
What?
showed up, they should have done what was right then, and they did not. They did not test the pathogens. They did not even find all of them. They left a freezer with Ebola in it, and we know
Oh shit.
how lethal that is and what could happen, especially in the Central Valley. Watching what is going on in this lab, the testing and the mice dealing with COVID and others, we still don't have the clear understanding.
As to Congressman Costa himself, he sort of just bumbled under oath, talking about our relationship with China, I guess.
The world's changed, and we know that China is an adversary, they're a competitor, and they're a vast market, and that makes it complicated.
And that was about it. Now, looking at that report, it's missing a lot. And this is why undercover journalism is so important, because we learn from the congressman's office things that are not inside this sanctioned congressional report. Now, in that report, they talk about Jesse Hsu, also known as David He. That's the Chinese
Jesse
national
Hsu.
on the run from Canada,
Which is it?
who operated this illicit biolab.
Which one's
in
the real
California.
name?
Now, in the
Or
report,
are they
Hsu
both
claimed that
aliases?
his fraudulent activity would, quote, help defeat the American aggressor and wild, ambitious wolf.
Oof.
Now, it turns out there's a
Oof.
kingpin attorney located
You
in the
call
Chinatown
America a
portion of Las
vicious
Vegas
wolf
who
while you're in
represents
America
a lot of these sorts
doing
of people.
dangerous
His
shit?
name is Michael Lynn. So I actually went to Las Vegas, Nevada to knock on Michael Lynn's door.
Uh-oh.
Now, this is the Lynn Law Group. I'm standing outside of Lynn Law Group in Las Vegas, Chinatown, Nevada. This is the lawyer who represented the
There's
companies
like 7
Universal
words in
Biotech,
English.
Inc. and Prestige Biotech. These
Oh,
are
I
the
guess
companies that funded the lab.
that panel's
They were
all in
getting
English.
checks from China, and they ran it through these two companies. You can see here, Lynn Law Group. The lawyer's name is Michael Lynn. He's with Lynn Law Group, represents a client who was just arrested, accused of operating an illegal lab with pathogens, including Ebola. David He is his nom de gume. His real name is Jesse Zhu. Claimed his fraudulent activity would, quote, defeat the American aggressors and wild, ambitious wolf.
Wow.
Now, Zhu is on the run from Canada because they issued a $330 million judgment against him for stealing intellectual property, and he showed up at this biolab. My questions for Michael Lynn, who's not at work today, is representing someone who basically wanted to help defeat America.
Wow.
And where are these other labs located in the United States, if they indeed exist? We want to know where they're located here. We're going to see if we can track Michael Lynn down and get more on the story. Now, since attorney Michael Lynn wasn't at the office when I dropped by and we wanted to give him the opportunity to comment, we sent one of our Las Vegas-based undercover investigative journalists to pay him a visit the next day. The office was open, but Michael Lynn didn't seem too excited to talk with us.
We're walking up to the Lynn Law Group,
Uh-oh.
and we're going to see if we can get a word.
Yeah, this is what we want to
with
see.
Mr. Michael Lynn, who may or may not be here. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Mike with MG Media Group. We were curious if we could get a hold of Michael Lynn to ask him a couple
MG.
questions about the ongoing case with, I think his name's David He / Jesse Zhu.
I don't think he's, at the liberty of making any comments. If you want to leave a number, I can see if that's a possibility, but at this moment, I don't think so.
Not interested in making any comments?
Yeah.
Okay, I totally
Mhm.
understand. Would it be
Okay.
okay if we called him again to ask, or would it for sure be a no comment?
I am pretty sure it's a no.
No comment?
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
appreciate your time
All
now.
right.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Mhm.
And then on the third one, James O'Keefe reached out to me and he said that he was willing to help me take this story to the next level.
So it being a 5-hour drive one way from Orange County, California to Fresno, a friend lent us his green Cessna. There were no black cars
shit.
in this escapade. It was a green airplane that we took from Orange County to Fresno.
Okay.
Chinese bank. And the question remains, how many other biolabs are
Okay,
there?
they're flying over the biolab. Yeah, that's not that important.
Looking building you're looking at, us flying over there, was actually an illicit Chinese biolab. It was very hard in Fresno.
Yeah, we saw the photos.
It's a second camera angle. We call it B-roll, a second shot, a beautiful shot with both Daniel Sepulveda and the citizen journalist in it. I'm sitting in the car outside waiting for the moment that she walks up or I'm going to walk in. So the citizen journalist goes in, sits down, and like the first two,
You know, this is the sad part, right? And I keep harping on this, but we guys, like, look at that guy. You think that guy's getting a baddie? But we as men, we would like to believe, like, maybe she could be interested in me. Fuck.
Tinder dates, Daniel Sepulveda sings like a canary.
Well, what does your boss think about that? Like, does he think it's China?
Yeah.
Okay, what does your boss think? Like, do you think that it was like more of a national security threat?
Yeah,
He does.
Yeah.
So in this final meeting, citizen journalists asked, why isn't there more media coverage on this biolab? And
Oh, shit.
Sepulveda, the congressional staffer for Jim Costa, says, well, a lot of conservative right-wing outlets are talking about it.
I was looking for like more mainstream articles on it, and I couldn't find anything. So why do you think that? Like, no one else is covering it.
I don't know. I mean, like, I know, like, locally it's been big in the news. Like, ABC 30 did a lot of coverage on it. I mean,
Yeah.
it is kind of a local issue, and I think maybe some more right-wing conservative things have, like, picked up on it.
We're not sure what's conservative or right-wing about Chinese biolabs or concerns about them. Sepulveda also tells the citizen journalist that the matter is kind of over.
Well, because the
That
left-wingers are
guy's
wearing
David
masks
he's in
instead,
prison,
right?
Therefore, nothing more
Don't
really
keep
needs
the
to be
deadly
done
diseases
about
out
the
of
matter. Even though
the country,
Sepulveda
you know?
says in other cases that there might be other Chinese biolabs still in
the
existence.
Chinese might
Kinda
release
like
a
how
deadly
the
disease, but
questions
that's
are
okay.
like,
Just
how
wear a
many
mask,
people
wear a
are,
piece of
like,
diaper paper over your
like,
face.
creating, like, these, like, labs within the United States.
Now, as it turns out,
Not
David
medical
He
advice.
is not actually really in federal prison at all. He's in a local county jail on relatively flimsy charges that have nothing to do with the so-called national security issues that Sepulveda
Oh, okay, so
is
he's in
saying
jail.
into the hidden camera that
He's
his
in
boss
jail, but
represents
not
this
for
is. Why
bioterrorism.
is a
Great.
member of the Chinese military who is a convicted criminal who's operating an illicit biolab only be sitting in a county jail with flimsy charges against him? Now, we reached out to the U.S. Attorney Phil Talbert, who handles the area there in the Eastern District of California, to wonder why they've given all these flimsy charges towards the defendant, and we're waiting to hear back from him too. So in this third meeting, about 20 minutes in, the citizen journalist decides she has to take a phone call, stands up, and then I walk in.
And then on the third one, James O'Keefe reached out to
Open, and
Let's
he
skip
gives
forward.
me a look that I've never seen on the face of any subject I've ever interviewed.
It's like,
He
uh-oh,
gets up,
I know
goes
what
to
that
pay
guy
his
looks
bill,
like.
and I question him about the presence of these other biolabs. Remember, Sepulveda stated that there are probably other biolabs in the United States, and he also stated that the report is over, Congress is done, the Select Committee has no more work to do.
Oh,
I mean,
jeez.
I think she kind of resolved. I mean, they're not resolved, but like the guy who was in charge of it,
Jeez.
he's in prison now. I mean, they cleaned up the mess. So I mean, like, there's not much more to go further.
But I want to know what Sepulveda knows, because he told us in this undercover meeting that he knew about this months before anybody else did.
I mean, I knew for a few months before anybody else did.
Did you?
So where do things stand? David He is
Wow.
sitting in a county jail. We at OMG have reached out to myriad officials for comment, some of whom have responded, some of whom have not. And this OMG brave citizen journalist who graduated from O'Keefe Academy and signed up to be an American swiper has just received a payday. That's right, we've paid $40,000 to the citizen journalist
Wow.
who obtained this video, and additional money based upon how the video performs on Elon Musk's X.
Additional
Anybody
money.
who
Okay,
does
there
what
we
this
go. I was
citizen
about to say
journalist has
3,000
done,
seems kind
who
of
signs
cheap
up to be an American swiper, goes
for a
out,
woman to go
takes
on
the
3
camera,
dates with a
records
chubby
the
dude.
story, and we decide to publish it, we will pay you an automatic $3,000. That's right. We've already had dozens more sign up to do what she has done, and they're already getting their cameras, and you can go to our website here and click on this sign up page, and we'll get you all set up. So what are the tools we use as investigative
Okay,
video
so enough of that. Let's go ahead and stop that. But you know, this is an interesting story. We covered it when it initially broke here on the show, but now to find out that not only did congressional staffers know about it and not scream from the rafters, but really the investigation is going nowhere. And as far as Congress is concerned, well, it's wrapped up and not much of a concern. No eyes looking at, well, how could this have happened on American soil? No, it happened once. What do we have to do to determine whether there are other Chinese nationals living among us? trying to bring these biolabs here. Or not just biolabs, but anything else that might harm America and for the good of China. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So we'll stop sharing that. Bring it down. Okay, there's that. I did say that I would cover the Derek Chauvin stuff, so let me go ahead and bring this up. This is not only everywhere, but also here at Fox News. Derek Chauvin prison stabbing, ex-FBI informant inmate charged with attempted murder of ex-Minneapolis cop. Chauvin was stabbed 22 times on Black Friday in tribute to Black Lives Matter, court documents allege, by an inmate who once served as an FBI informant. So I'm sure everyone else on the internet is covering this story today and, yesterday. So let me just do a quick skim. This is John Tursak, 52, is facing multiple assault charges and inflicting serious bodily injury with an improvised knife around 12:30 p.m. on Black Friday, a day the suspect allegedly told investigators he picked to symbolize the Black Lives Matter movement, which spurred months of protests around the country in connection with the death of George Floyd, who Chauvin was convicted of killing. Now, do we have a picture of this guy? I thought I saw a picture on one of these. So here's Chauvin. Tursak could see 60 years added to his federal sentence if he gets the maximum punishment. He was due for release in 2026. Authorities told Fox News it is against their policy to give updates regarding inmate health, citing safety and privacy concerns. Prison staff isolated and contained the incident before performing life-saving measures on Chauvin, who was treated at a hospital outside the prison. In an appeal filed last month, Chauvin claimed new evidence shows he was not responsible for the death. Separately, the Supreme Court rejected his appeal for a new trial just days before the stabbing. Chauvin is serving a sentence of more than 20 years in prison for the 2020 murder of George Floyd. Chauvin was one of 4 officers who arrested Floyd that day after he allegedly passed a counterfeit $20 bill at a coffee shop and refused to cooperate. Chauvin, on widely seen video that prompted the riots, knelt on Floyd's neck for more than 9 minutes. Okay, so my thoughts here. The fact that he said he did it on Black Friday to symbolize Black Lives Matter. For 3 years, we've been told that phrase, Black Lives Matter, that white folks couldn't then, or really white folks, Mexican folks, Asians, Native Americans, that to respond with Black Lives Matter, with all lives matter, was racist. Because all lives inherently matter, but Black lives are the ones that are in crisis, right? The Black lives are the ones that are being taken, that are being devalued. You're literally trying to take a life with a Shiv to celebrate Black lives. To celebrate Black lives, you want to take a life with a Shiv. You can't make this shit up. This is the thought process of the activist in the 21st century. A guy is perceived to have done one of the most heinous things a person could do. Kill them due to immutable characteristics. kill them for no other reason than their immutable characteristics. Now, anyone who's looked at the case for more than 5 minutes, anyone who watched the documentary The Fall of Minneapolis, anyone who really looked into the case and understood that a lot of the witnesses lied on the stand about the training Chauvin received, etc., knows that Chauvin wasn't just trying to murder an inward, so to speak, right? But that's what happened. A black person lost their life. And in celebration, we now have this inmate, John Tursak, 52 years old. 22. 22. To celebrate Black lives. "22 thrusts of a Shiv to celebrate Black lives." It's madness. It's madness. So yeah, let's go to the let's get some comedy here. I was gonna go through some Henry Kissinger quotes because I've been seeing a lot of weird takes online about, you know, as with any news story that hits Twitter, right? You've got extremists that take their sides. The death of Henry Kissinger, there were people dancing on his grave, which, look, I didn't like the guy, and obviously that's why I was going to read some of the quotes, because he has said some of the most evil things that an influential person could ever say. But as a person with some faith in morals and God, and a person who believes that even a person that evil be better than them, right? So I'm not going to celebrate his death. But there were some people that were just defending Henry Kissinger and saying, well, yeah, he wasn't that bad. You know, look, he said some things about Jews. Well, it's like, come on, man. You're so racist against Jewish people, you're going to excuse all this other stuff about, you know, just we need to eradicate 50% of the world. Yeah. This was literally Thanos. This man was literally Thanos. Anyway, so yeah, let's move on to something a little more lighthearted. Let's do the thing. Let's do the thing. Where's my little logo feature? There we go. There we go. Love does admonish. Time for our good, funny. Oh, hey, welcome. Talk with Sally. I totally did not see your comment in there. Cheers. Over on the YouTube, I had my YouTube chats hidden there for a minute. My bad. But yeah, we're gonna catch the Love Does Admonish segment. And today, this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one. Oh. This is going to be a good one. Are you ready for this? This one's called, She's Not My Child, She's My Fiancé.
This is Taxi. She fell in love with...
Quick, somebody tag Drex.
Anna.
Oh, they're both chicks.
The couple are in a mixed-height relationship and get their fair share of judgment.
Mixed-height relationship.
Why are you with Tipsy? She's small, she looks like a child. Don't you feel disgusted sometimes? She's even got drinks thrown at her.
Recently engaged, the pair are planning their wedding. But Tex is concerned that her short height will stop her from finding her dream dress.
It's not gonna fit. I already know it.
Okay, ready? Just watch your step coming down here.
You look stunning. Yeah, you look amazing.
Okay, so here we go.
I'm Tiny Sexy, and I am the world's smallest feature entertainer.
I am Anna.
Wait a minute,
We
wait a
are
minute,
in
wait a minute.
mix-
Whoa. We can't just let that go. My name is Tiny Texie, and I'm the world's smallest feature entertainer?
And I am the world's smallest feature entertainer.
She means porn, right? Tell me that's not porn. I don't know. Sounds like porn to me, but we'll see.
I am Anna.
We are in a mixed-size relationship.
We met through work, actually.
Yeah,
It was kind of a
Oh,
whirlwind.
yeah, of
I was
course.
hired on to be Tiny Texie's makeup artist, and we just kept getting closer and closer. Kind of told her after a while that I had a crush on her.
The feelings kept progressing more and more as we spent time together. I like the fact that she saw me for me, not for my height.
So since the last time you guys have seen us, we've been engaged.
Yes, we took the big leap. Well, technically, she took the big leap.
On New Year's, she had a booking. I went on stage right before her performance, and I
Yep,
was wearing
stripper.
a white short dress. I never wear white or
I
dresses.
actually never wear
Julian was
Correct.
right.
I got down on one knee, and she immediately, she knew what was up. So I did it in front of everybody with a big crowd. Make a scene, you know how
And
we
I
do it.
said yes. And it was the best yes of my life.
Wow.
Today, we're going to try
Wow.
on wedding dresses. I'm excited. I know this has been like a...
Look, see, this is my issue. This is my issue with the LGBT community. Because the LGBT community is just now learning the lessons that straight people have known their whole life. Don't marry a stripper.
a big adventure for you when it comes to dresses and things like that. I just have this feeling today will be different. I really hope it is.
I'm an adult, I'm 31 years old. You know, because I am so small, people look at me and they're like, oh, you're a child, automatically. And
Look,
unfortunately, I do have...
Okay, look, some of those photos were sus. Like, I think now, like, she looked, like, in this right here, she looks enough like an adult. But some of those photos are a little sus.
Afterward, you know, sometimes child clothes. And I try my hardest to make them adult-wise the best way I can.
Okay,
but
well, she says
you
she
don't always win in
tries.
those situations. I get bullied on TikTok on a daily. I get my stuff taken down on a daily because I look like a child. Guess what? I can't help it. But the fact that people want to be like, oh, you're just feeding the it's sick that you act like that. I act like a grown adult is what I act like. Because that's who I am.
So, what do you think that they're gonna put you in today? Little flower girl dresses?
I hope not, but I'm pretty sure they will, because it always happens. She gets people all the time, and you're like, why you...
Okay, I gotta address this, Julian. Because I was having my own thoughts about this for the past couple of minutes here. It's weird regardless, right? It is weird regardless. And that's why, you know, again, the whole love doesn't judge, but it admonishes, right? I think if you're put in that situation, you know, let me give a little anecdote here. There was a few years back, and there's actually a Love Don't Judge episode about this, by the way. I'm not going to spoil it because I may cover it one day. But there was a few years back, I had ran into this news story about a woman with 2 vaginas. She had 2 vaginas. And I was obsessed. I was fascinated. I was like, I wonder if there's porn about this. Now, it turns out that since then, there has a woman that's come out that is a porn star that does porn that's like that. But I was like upset. I wanted to find out. I was like, what does this kind of thing look like? You know, I found diagrams and this and that. And I was like, okay, well, so this disorder, uterine didelphus, right? So you have 2 complete woman parts down there. You know, what % of the population is this, right? So I typed it into a calculator and I did the math. Hashtag he did the math, right? Stir fry. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. He said he knew her name. Yeah, she said it at the beginning of the video, by the way. So I don't know. I don't know if you're sus yet, but we'll get there. Anyway, so like I was saying, I did the math, and I determined like in a major city, there's at least like 2,000 or 3,000 women between the ages of, 20 and 40 that have this uterine didelphys estimated by the percentage, that they say it was so rare, blah, blah, blah. I did the math. So yeah, I was like, so what are the odds I could meet one of these women, hanging out in a major metropolitan area? He says 4chan, bro. Yes. Okay. 4chan. If it was 4chan or Discord, I could understand, but yeah, so anyway, where was I going with this? So, kind of my thought is, most of these women are just living their daily lives. So I'm going to tie it into this story. So, then I got to thinking, yeah, there's 1,000 women in a major metropolitan area. There's chances are you've met a woman with 2 vaginas and don't know it. But these women are just going about their daily lives. They're not making their life about sex. And even though they have this unique sexual trait, they're not trying to capitalize on it. They're not trying to make it part of their lifestyle or part of their attention grabbing, right? And so I think this is an unfortunate fact of someone like this is yes, there are going to be sexual fetishes about the small or the big or the looking unique in this way or another. But when you personally know someone that would be attracted to my unique thing is unhealthy, period. It's unhealthy. Then I think you owe it to yourself to not be a sexualized being. And so Julian Delficki, would it be weirder if the small girl was with a guy? We had this. I had this conversation on this channel. We did another little person a couple weeks back, and I said it then, and I'll say it again. It's. I don't think it's weird to be in a relationship with someone. I don't necessarily think it's weird for them to want love and for someone to love them back. For someone, it's just like a chubby chaser guy. I don't. Look, I'm a chubby chaser myself, but there are definitely imperfections for the right person with the right personality. We're willing to overlook certain imperfections. Let me just put it that way. And we all have our own imperfections that we're not willing to admit we have. We want to just assume that our partners love us for every inch of our being and every aspect to our personality, but let's be honest. Being able to be like, I'm not really attracted to someone that little, that it kind of makes me feel like, a child, but she's amazing in every other way. She brightens my day. And there are unique things about her that I have found pretty interesting about this thing that doesn't have to do with the fact that she's as small as a child, right? And so I'm hoping that guy or a girl, that I'm hoping like this woman here has that opinion and respects that. That's what I hope. Now, again, the problem I have, again, love doesn't judge, it admonishes. The problem I have, you both are sex workers. You met each other. Like if you would have met each other at a fucking Waffle House, I wouldn't have a problem with that. But she came in, you were putting on her makeup, like she's trying to look her best to get the tips and shake her ass on stage. She came to you sexualized, and you were in a sexualized occupation yourself. Now, you may have just been a makeup artist, but I mean, let's be honest, strip clubs are very sexually charged. This is where I think it's a little sus. So here's Julian typed a follow-up here. My experience, when normal height males are with a shorter woman, it's seen as perverted, but when a normal height woman is with a shorter man, she has a big heart. People judge them, differently. Okay. Yeah, and then Mr. Stir Fry says, how about the fact that there are sexual clothes in her size? I mean, it depends. Like, she's not buying them at Target, right? I mean, maybe she is. You know, the whole news story that came out of Target this past summer, yeah, maybe she is. But, you know, there are also a lot of independent designers that will make custom sexualized clothing for you. Anyway, I'm already over my time. I'm going to get this video going. Sorry.
With tipsy. Don't you feel disgusted sometimes? Like, have you ever thought about just being with someone regular? There's been times where it's been very hard for both of us.
Absolutely.
And she's even got drinks thrown at her. You know, she's been threatened as well.
You ready to go dress shopping? Okay.
You never let me struggle in any shape, way, or form, whether it be physically, emotionally, or mentally.
You never let me struggle physically.
Helped me with a lot of
She
struggles
reaches
I've
the
had,
jars
especially
on the
biggest
top
struggle
shelf for
is
her.
With people on social media. Oh, there it is. Ah. If someone comes up to me and tries to harm me, I have a shield. Not just one, I have two. I have her, and I have my boss, Cam.
Are you ready?
Oh, here we go.
Oh my
The
gosh.
manager.
This is gonna be interesting.
We have a manager involved, folks.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you,
Anastasia.
Anastasia.
Nice to
Oh,
meet you.
they're going wedding
Lexi.
dress shopping.
Anastasia, nice to meet you. Congratulations. Now, are we looking for dresses? What are we looking for?
We are actually looking for wedding dresses.
Yes, we are.
So you're going to see each other?
Yes.
Of course, we have a special case here, so we want to make sure that she can get everything that she desires. Because
Not a problem. This is a safe space.
My diagnosis that I have affects my bones. It's called Kenny-Caffey syndrome. And it's a very rare condition that a lot of people have it, nor do even the medical field really know anything about it. It's very difficult for me to find dresses of any kind for any event. So I stress it a lot, and I know it's probably gonna be a little bit of a hassle and a little bit of bridezilla moments, but I wanna try it.
We're here for it.
I have basically the same.
Okay, so real quick, let's do a little poll. In fact, here, I'll just type it out. We'll do a little poll in the chat.
Same bones of an average woman. I have all the bones she has, but they're just small. They're shrunken. And it also means I have brittle bones. I have to be very careful with what I do.
she is the oldest living adult with this condition.
So what kind of gown were you thinking? Like style, budget, color? You tell me and I will definitely go grab it for you.
She loves sparkles.
Sparkles?
She likes lace.
Oh, I'm tingling. I got that.
Meeting her, her condition wasn't really discussed. I kind of just treated her like she was a normal human being. Everybody asked you, so I wasn't gonna be that person that was like, hey, I know I do your makeup all the time. Why are you so small? But you know, the closer and closer we got, whenever we did discuss it, at that point, I was more involved in her life and I wanted to take that girlfriend route of, okay, how do I help with this condition?
How do you think you're gonna look in the dresses?
I don't know. It's gonna swallow me. It's not gonna fit. I already know. It's gonna be hard. I'm gonna get emotional. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna get upset. I'm gonna get frustrated. I'm gonna get happy. And then I'm gonna be like, forget it. I'm over it. So it's gonna be all the emotions all at once.
I got her in a princess dress here.
I like it.
You like this one? Yeah. It's traditional and everything we do is not traditional. I love that. Will you take me in this?
It's not complete until she puts on like the veil and like all
Do you
that
want to
stuff.
see it with the veil?
Uh-oh.
I
No, you're supposed to say no.
I'm going to cry all my makeup off. I cannot look.
It's bad luck. It's bad luck.
Look, it's hit off.
Now your turn. Yeah, your turn to cry. Oh my gosh.
I'm getting emotional. Come on up. Watch your step.
Does this give you like a flower girl type
It is
thing?
a flower girl dress. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I don't need to do that.
So it definitely doesn't have the plunging neckline that we
Right.
discussed. So that's,
I want my boobies to
our
look
girls
like that.
need to look good together,
So what else can we do? How can we solve this?
We have one dress that I pulled out that I can customize from A to Z for you. Remember, it's clipped. I can customize this as she would like. Okay? Ready? Just watch your step coming down here.
All right.
I really like that.
That is a pretty cool dress. I do have to
We have
say
an
it's a pretty
adult
cool
dress,
dress.
which is what
You know,
you
I'm not
wanted,
into
right?
fashion.
You're not putting
even
on
though I'm wearing a
little
man
girl's
bun.
dress. You can let go of it. How do you feel? Oh, I see tears, guys.
Because we've been to how many shops and they can't do this.
We've been to how many shops asking them to put her in a regular size?
dabble in it.
They won't even put her in a regular.
They don't even want to mess with it.
Honestly, I
You look
don't.
stunning.
Yeah, you look amazing. You look amazing.
Honestly, I told her I'd wear a tux.
Oh my gosh.
I told her I'd wear
too, but you should be able
and
to
it
wear what
sucks
you
to
want.
say. I told her I would wear a child's tux, so I just get it altered.
That was not an option for us. I want her to be happy.
I didn't think.
Okay, this is a little heartwarming. I gotta say.
dress?
Could this be the one?
You think so?
It's literally everything.
It's fitted, like how you explained.
How do you feel?
Oh, look at
Yes, the man bun is definitely the.
I had a lot of fun today. How about you?
For keeping the hair out of your face when you're giving
I thought that it
fellatio.
was gonna be a bridezilla moment on my end, but we actually were very surprised with the outcome, and a lot of emotions came out that I did not expect to come. I hope that people of all shapes and sizes can find love and finally stop judging.
We're always gonna face judgment, but
Wait, that was it?
I don't care
We
who
just
judges me
saw
for
him
me love.
Get
Me
wedding
loving you.
dresses?
I'm happy, I'm content.
Okay, so look, I gotta say, look,
Forget
my
that white
only
picket
judgment
fence.
is your
Paint it
sex
purple.
workers. You don't need to be sex workers. You could find something else to do. As far as you loving each other, whatever, you know. Wait, is that the same girl in a different video? Looks like the same girl. Anyway, okay. It wants me to watch The Fifth Element. No, we're not watching The Fifth Element. Go away. Oh, cheers, everybody. Okay, so that's going to be the show for today. I want to thank everyone who showed up, even people who didn't say hi in the chat. Cheers to everyone out there. It's time for me to cook my dinner and say goodbye for a few days. I will see you all Wednesday night, right here, 6 p.m. Central. Mild's Culture Plate, same time, same bat channel. In the meantime, do me a little favor, click that like button. If you haven't followed this channel before, please follow the channel and yeah, share it off platform. And if you're new here, feel free to go find one of my other Love Don't Judge or Love Don't Admonish videos and laugh it up. Also, the link to Love Don't Judge is down in the description if you're a little more curious about some of these other, weird perversions that are out there. But yeah, you can do that. Also down in the description are links to all my social media and my other video accounts. Please follow me on those platforms as well, because if my show is ever late or needs to be rescheduled or moved, I will notify everyone at those on those platforms. So please, if you want to stay informed of when you can catch Mild's Culture Plate, that's the way to do it. So until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of one another, outlast the haters. That's the important thing. That's why we do Love Don't Admonish, because if these people were outlasting the haters, they wouldn't need to come on a video and whine about their haters. But looks like that couple is doing pretty well for themselves outside of their sex work. But yeah, outlast the haters. Don't get any on you. And if you do, rub it in real good. I'll catch you next time on Mild's Culture Plate. Take care, everybody. Good night.